twilight, these sisters discuss the paranormal and the unnerving. They are known as the ParaSisters.
Hi guys, this is Tristan,
And this is Rebecca.
and you are watching ParaSisters.
That's right.
Yes. So, we're going to do the Bennington Triangle today, but I want to preface this by saying that earlier this week we actually recorded this episode already. Normally, Rebecca and I don't know what we're going to present to each other, so you're not going to get the same effect as when we first recorded this video, but boy, do we have a story for you after we're done running through the Bennington Triangle.
Yes. And I'm so sad because I feel like our first one was so good. Like, it was a perfect little episode and it was so spooky and creepy, and I'm devastated. But that's okay. We must move on.
We must move on, yes.
We have to, yeah.
And I feel it's important that we do this one because it is a great place. So I think it's really important that we do it, even though you already know what we're going to talk about now. And
dude, it's still like ultra creepy. Like, even though I know, and it's like I'm so glad for redoing this, because I know there was a lot of if we should redo it, because we don't want it to be rehearsed. You know, we don't want it to seem like we're sitting here practicing our lines all day, because we're totally not. This is all spur of the moment, just so you know.
Right, it is, yes. So I'm just gonna jump right in. So the Bennington Triangle in Glastonbury, Vermont. It's the southwest part of Vermont. This place is ultra creepy. So Glastonbury is a ghost town in Bennington, Vermont. It was a small logging community that actually had to deal with coal and things like that, but they cut down the trees to help with. I don't exactly understand the science of the whole thing, but so the coal started running out. They they just kind of left the town. They abandoned it at the end of the 19th century. Now it is mostly untouched wilderness.
Nice.
And yeah, and you can look it up. Like, there's still a couple buildings left. There's a lot of where you can see where the foundation was for buildings and stuff like that. It's very cool. It's very creepy looking though too, because the wilderness is taken over.
That's
like
cool.
Nature has taken this place over. Yeah. So in 1992, author named Joseph Citro dubbed this place the Bennington Triangle because it started 70 years ago with a string of disappearances. They have, and many of them are unexplained. And as far as I know, last count, they had 30 disappearances. I can only find cases of 4 of them that were well documented.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it is. But we had talked about missing 411 before.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe if we went on there, and we would probably be able to find more.
That would be interesting. I can't wait to do that. So
I know
that's going to be in the future. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
It might be long because there are so many cases of missing 411s. So it's like,
right.
That might be like a couple of episodes.
Maybe like a 2-parter. That would be cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so 70 years ago, it starts in. I'm sorry, I'm going to go back a little bit. So they've had many unexplained disappearances, unsolved murders, and bizarre sightings that still continue to this day. So this place is very creepy. It's so cool, though. So we'll start in 1945, November 12th. A 70-year-old hunting guide by the name of Mitty Rivers is leading like a group of 4 in a hunting party.
Mm-hmm.
He goes around a corner, and by the time that the other hunters catch up to him, he's gone. He just disappeared. So they did like an initial search for him, and they didn't find anything of him. So he's experienced woodsman, survivalist. He's a hunter. He knows this forest.
Right.
So after the initial search for him, they're like, oh, well, he'll come back to town,
Right.
Well, he never showed up. So they get together a search party of 300 people. They from the town, military personnel actually join us from a local military base, and they searched for him for 8 days. And they found nothing of him. Nothing. They couldn't find a campfire. They couldn't find clothes. They didn't find any trace of him. The only thing they found was some bullets, but it's a forest where people hunt, so it could really belong to anybody.
It's really creepy and weird.
It is very creepy and weird. So, I mean, and that in itself is just weird, because this is an experienced survivalist and huntsman. Like, he knows what the hell's going on in this place. You know what I mean? Like, he knows where to go. He knows the trails. He knows.
Right, he goes there a lot, I'm assuming, if he is that familiar with it.
Oh, yes. There are a lot of trails. We'll get into that later in a little bit. So, they never found him. You know, they searched for him for 8 days. Which to me is that's not a very long time.
No, it's not. But of course they're like, it's a 70-year-old guy. It's cool.
Right,
it's
like,
cool.
Day, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever.
Listen, whose arm is that in the background? Because I'm going to break it off.
That would be the Great American Sasquatch's arm.
Oh, so I could turn it in for science.
For science. Okay, so I just got informed that it's the other white Great American Sasquatch.
Oh, the albino.
The albino Sasquatch.
The albino.
So, okay, we're going to go on to 1946, December 1st, 1946. Now, this is arguably the most infamous missing person case in Vermont history, because it's just weird surroundings. It's weird.
Right.
So, 18-year-old Paula Weldon, a student at Bennington College, decided she was going to stay at the school for Thanksgiving break.
Right.
So she works her shift at the cafeteria where she works for the school. After her shift, she decides she's going to take a hike on the Long Trail, which is a trailhead there. Now, the Long Trail is 272-mile footpath.
Holy.
Yeah, a huge trail, right. And on this trail, there's 166 miles of side trails.
That's so long. Like, that's so long.
It's a huge. I mean, the Bennington Triangle, the square mileage on this thing is insane.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, yeah, and then on this trail, they have 70 backcountry campsites also.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Right. I
cool.
Like, I kind of want to go camp here, but then I'm like, I don't know.
I'm terrified. I'd be terrified. Literally terrified.
After we get into some of the first-hand accounts here.
Yeah.
So, okay, so she was last seen on Sunday, December 1st, walking to, like, entering the Long Trail, wearing a red coat, because it's December in Vermont and it's freezing balls outside.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she was entering Long Trail near Glastonbury Mountain. That's the last time anybody's seen her. And when she never showed up for her Monday classes, people began to worry because, evidently it was very unlike her not to show up for class.
Right.
So they get 1,000 people pulled together looking for her.
Wow.
They have townspeople, they have the military involved now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Vermont National Guard is involved. They even put a $5,000 reward out. Her parents did,
which is quite a bit. That's quite a bit back then. So it's like
it is quite a bit. Yeah. And well, in 1946, that is a shit ton of money.
Yeah, I wish I knew the conversion, but I don't. So.
I should have looked that up. I didn't even think about it.
I love conversions.
So, and even in 1946, they got numerous aircraft and multiple law enforcement agencies to look for her.
Right.
Despite all of this, they never found any clues to her whereabouts at all.
That's
ever.
So weird.
They never found a body. They never found a hair. They never found anything of her.
I don't like that.
Right. I don't either. So nobody even knows what her fate was, you know?
That's so sad.
I would assume just because it's the wilderness and say she did get lost or whatever, you know, in December, you are going to die of hypothermia very quickly, especially when it becomes nighttime.
Yeah.
So in 1949, December 1st, 1949, exactly 3 years to the day of Paula Weldon's disappearance, the Bennington Triangle saw another seemingly supernatural disappearance. A 68-year-old man named James E. Tedford boarded a bus to Bennington. He was visiting his family in St. Albans, which is about 150 miles away from Bennington.
Right.
So he gets on the bus and he's going, and between I'm sorry, I lost my place. So he's on the bus, right? And numerous eyewitnesses, including the driver, saw him on the bus, in his bus seat, as long as the last stop before Bennington.
Right.
Then Bennington gets there, right? And he never gets off the bus. Well, he just disappeared between the last stop in Bennington.
Like straight out of his seat, just
like straight out of his seat.
That's
I mean,
crazy to me.
All of his stuff, like the passengers are like, "What's going on?" Because all of his stuff, his bags, are still left in his seat. All of his things are still there.
Listen, that trips me out. I forgot all about him because I remember like the college girl, and then the next one you're gonna talk. But the guy like off the bus, like that totally trips me out. Like, where did he go? Like, where did he go?
Right. So, and the weirdest part of this is, in the time, if witnesses are correct on their timing, and they didn't see him get off, the time that he would have disappeared, they were on Route 7, and Route 7 goes through the Bennington Triangle area.
Right.
Where they have mapped out where the Bennington Triangle is.
Oh.
It goes right through there. So that's where he would have disappeared. It is spooky. It's so weird. That weirds me out.
Yeah,
I think that weirds me out more than the forest disappearances, because I'm like...
Well, that's almost like you're in a forest by yourself in the winter. Who knows what could happen, honestly. Like...
Right, and especially when you go by yourself, you could like twist your ankle, fall down, you can't, break it or whatever, and now you can't get up, so now you've succumbed to the elements.
Right.
Although I do have to say that they should have found something if that was the case.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, really, as a person who enjoys the outdoors, and, we've done a lot of outdoor things, I would never, for one, go into the forest by myself. But if I was like an 18-year-old girl, even being the age that I am, which I will not disclose, by the way.
That's private.
I would not go hiking on a trail by myself, but I would never leave the trail either. So if something had happened to me, it would happen on the trail. And it wouldn't be far from the trail that they would find me if that something like that were to occur.
Right.
But it's just weird that there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing.
No trace. Like, she's just gone.
She's gone. Mitty Rivers is gone. Tedford is gone. Like, they're just gone. It's so weird.
Crazy to me.
It's very creepy. So we're going to go to 1950. So, like, about a year later, almost a year later, in mid-October, 8-year-old Paul Jepson, a little boy, his parents worked at a dump that is about 2 miles from Bennington Triangle. So his mom goes, she's got to feed the pigs that live there. She goes to take care of the pigs. She parks near the dump. And she tells him to stay, with the truck. So she goes to feed the pigs. The last time he's seen is by the truck. And so she comes back and he's gone. He's absolutely gone. Yeah. Um, so, of course, being a mother, she freaks out, you know.
Yeah. I'd lose my
They,
mind, honestly.
me too,
Yeah, no.
they have a massive search party. Massive. It doesn't say exactly how many people, because I think there were so many people that they don't actually know how many people were involved in this search.
Right.
They bring in bloodhounds from New Hampshire, like this bloodhound that was famously known back then to find people. Like it was the best bloodhound that you could possibly get.
Right.
So they lose. So the bloodhound finds his trail, right, and they lose his trail at a crossroads. And the trail just ends, so they don't know. But I had read some more about this. It had been raining that day, so the trail could have washed away, or something could have happened because he was very close to the Bennington Triangle. They never found him. They actually had suspected foul play.
Oh, right.
Of his parents, actually,
Yeah.
and that they fed him to the pigs.
What?
Yeah, that they had killed him.
You
and
did
fed
not
him to the
tell
pigs.
me that last time.
I know, because I was just thinking about it now, because I had skipped over it.
No.
I was like, that's very morbid. But I think it's important to say that, so where his trail ended was like about 1.5 miles, almost 2 miles from the dump. So I'm like, if his parents had done that to him, they would have never found the trail to begin with.
Well, yeah, I couldn't see them like walking him 2 miles away, and then what, did they take him back to the dump in the truck? Like I don't think they would have had the foresight to think, oh, they're going to track his trail with dogs, you know?
Right, right, exactly. So, they, of course, no charges were brought. They couldn't, prove anything, and I don't honestly believe that his parents had anything to do with this, because his father was very distraught.
Oh, that's really sad.
And he had told, I know, he had told reporters that Paul had talked of nothing but going to the mountains, like days before his disappearance, like almost like the mountains were calling him.
Dude, the first time you told me that, I got the chills, and then I've just gotten the chills again, because it's so weird.
Right, and then the crossroads where he was, where they last found where the trail ended, was very close to the Bennington Triangle. Like the one road will take you right to the forest.
Right, okay.
So, it is suggested that the mountain had lured him there.
Again with the chill. Just the fact of like the mountain is luring him, like, oh my gosh, that poor baby.
I mean, that is a phenomenon all in itself, because I know that certain people are drawn to places.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I mean, just think about it. Like, really, anybody could be drawn to any place.
Listen, I'm obsessed with like medieval England and Scotland. And like no other place, like I am like fascinated with it, and I don't know why.
You know what the craziest thing is Ireland literally calls me.
So I'm that way with like England and Scotland, or even just I guess the greater UK. I don't know. It's just that whole area. That's weird.
I know,
because both of our ancestors on both sides of our grandparents come from England and Ireland. So.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's weird.
I know, yeah, I'm telling you, Ireland calls me, man. I want to go there so badly. I want to go to Lep Castle. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That would be so much fun.
Yes.
Okay, so 2 weeks later, 53-year-old Frida Linger, she is an extremely experienced hiker and survivalist, went camping with her husband and her cousin. They set up their campsite. Her husband had hurt his knee, so he stayed at the campsite, and her cousin went for a hike. They're on Long Trail, but they're at a different part of Long Trail. This one is bordering eastern Glastonbury Mountain. So it's on a different side of the Long Trail. while hiking with her cousin about 1,000 yards from their campsite, she falls into a brook and gets wet. Now, this is like early November. So she goes back to her, tells her cousin, just wait here, I'll be right back. I'm going to go change and I'll meet up with you. I'll meet back up with you.
Right.
Well, she never shows back up. And now they're only 1,000 yards from their campsite.
Right, so they're super close.
Super close, right.
Like,
so
that's like yelling distance almost, really.
Right. It really is.
Yeah.
They said about a half a mile. I think it's a little less than that because other reports say 1,000 yards.
Right.
So it can be a half a mile, 1,000 yards. But really, if you think about it, if I go out to my street and down to the end of my street is like almost a half a mile, I could yell at somebody down the street.
Well, especially like the woods are quiet. Like it's so quiet in the woods usually. Like, so unless you're near like a road, but like if you're in the woods and it's like if something happened to you and you scream, I can imagine someone like, especially since she's in between her cousin and her husband who are at the campsite. Like, I feel like somebody would have heard something.
Somebody would have heard something, right? So her cousin goes back to the campsite where her husband is and was like, where the heck Frida go? Frida's missing. And her husband's like, she never came back here. And search, ensues.
Right.
400 people, including military, search extensively with no results. None. So this is when it gets good, right?
Yeah.
6 months later, they find her body in an open area off the trail that had been searched extensively numerous times.
Right.
Multiple times. And I think they searched for her for a couple months.
Right.
So her body is found in an open area where they had searched lots of times before.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden her body just turns up.
See, that's pretty
and weird. Her body is so decomposed that they cannot determine cause of death.
Oh, poor lady.
I know. And like we had discussed this on the previous filming of this.
Mm-hmm.
But like I want to get a hold of these case files because I'm like, where was her backpack? She's a hiker. Of course she's carrying supplies with her. You know what I mean?
Right. I know you mentioned like it doesn't even say really if her clothes, if she was wearing all of her clothes, her shoes, like.
Right. Where is all of this stuff? You know what I mean? Are her clothes damaged? Is there blood?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like what's going on with her shoes? Are they scuffed up? I mean, I'm assuming that they probably are scuffed up because she's an experienced, survivalist and hiker, so I'm sure she wears the same boots. But I'm like, come on, where's all this stuff? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think
her personal belongings, like.
Right. I think we could delve into this a little further. I wish I could get a hold of these case files. I don't know if these are case files that would be released to the public yet, because considering that they've never been solved, I would think they would be open cases still.
Right. They're probably cold cases that are open but not being actively.
Right.
That'd be interesting to find out, though.
Yeah, so she's the last of the very well-documented cases.
Right.
And I think that these are so well documented in all my research because these all happened in a 5-year period.
Right.
And it's weird how they happened. So I have to say this, that they had thought of a serial killer, that maybe a serial killer had taken these people and killed them, of course,
Right.
But the only, so I don't know if our viewers know anything about serial killers, but serial killers, they have a specific type of person that they kill. None of these people are anything alike.
Well,
you know what I mean?
They're all so different. I mean,
different ages, different sexes.
The closest is that 2 females, and they weren't close in age. We don't know. I don't know what they look like. Maybe I can try to find photos of both of them. But yeah, an older man,
a very young boy.
Right, a little boy. Yeah, that's not. Yeah.
So they of course dismiss this theory because it doesn't fit anything that we have known about serial killers for the last 100 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, the only similarities in these cases are the time of year, because they all disappeared within the last 3 months of the year.
Right.
And they all disappeared between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m.
That's right. You said that.
And I'm not sure what Frida Langer was wearing, or Tedford, or Mitty Rivers. I'm assuming that Mitty Rivers, being a huntsman, was wearing bright clothing.
Right.
So that he didn't accidentally get shot by this party of hunters he's leading.
Right.
But Paula Weldon was wearing red.
Yeah.
And Paul Jepson was also wearing red.
Yeah. Okay, so, right, the little boy and the college girl, right?
Yes.
For sure.
They were for sure wearing red. I would assume that Mitty was wearing a bright color because he's hunting.
Hunter, yeah.
And maybe even Frida, being a experienced survivalist, because I know that going into the forest you wear bright colors in case there's other people there or hunters.
Well, right.
You know what I mean? You want them to see you.
Right.
So they don't shoot you, you know?
So I did mention this before, but I kind of want to throw it out there again about the missing 411 and how a lot of the cases have to, a lot of the common denomination is that the people are wearing brightly colored clothing and they are disappearing in national forests. And so I wonder if they're like related to each other at all, but that's interesting.
It very well could be. Okay, so I'm going to get into the intriguing mysteries and unexplained events. So Bennington Triangle they consider it a very paranormal place.
Right.
Just in general. I don't know what had happened there. I can't get any history besides the Glastonbury logging community.
Right.
But as far as like Indians and stuff go, I don't know. I don't know if there's any kind of Civil War action going there or anything like that. I'm not exactly certain. They don't have a whole lot before Glastonbury make their community there.
Right.
But there have been strange lights. I actually just reading this because remember we had talked about the film crew.
Oh yeah.
So I had to look it up, for when we redid this.
Yeah.
So the film crew is called. I have so many papers on my desk. They're called Crypto Paranormal Investigations.
Okay.
So I finally found them. They have made videos after this because this was in 2011. And the newspaper just was like, well, we haven't heard from them yet. They're supposed to report, and they never reported in. So, and I was like, well, what the hell happened to the film crew? What's going on?
Right. We thought that was really funny because you brought it up, and I'm like, well, did they ever get out? Like, what happened?
I know, and I was like, I don't know, because the newspaper never reported on again.
Right.
So I finally figured out I had to do, I had like 10 search bars open trying to find these people.
Oh my gosh.
I know, so they're called Crypto Paranormal Investigations. I did not watch any of their videos. They only have like 4, but they have made some after 2011.
So they are not lost in the Bennington Triangle.
They are not lost in the Bennington Triangle.
Okay.
But they have strange lights, which we had talked about Marfa before. Marfa, Texas.
Yeah.
People have claimed to seeing cryptids like Bigfoot there.
Of course, right.
Right. At least 30 missing people.
Yeah, it's crazy
and
that they
unsolved murders, obviously.
Yeah, it's crazy that they don't have a lot of like backstory on those 30 missing people. Like,
I just think that because they were so spread out and it didn't happen, you know what I mean? Like,
it's like, here's like the history of the whole. A lot of people go missing there.
Right, and if you really think about it, how many people go missing in national forests every day? Really, you know what I mean?
Probably a ton, really, if you.
Right, not all of them are supernatural or paranormal or unexplained.
Right. A lot of people are dumbasses. And
I agree.
I don't mean that as an insult to anybody in specific. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I do mean that as an insult because if you are a dumbass, if you go into the woods and you don't take precautions, you know what I mean? You are a dumbass. It's the wilderness. Come on.
Right. People don't have enough respect for the wilderness.
They do not. They do not. I mean, you have to be prepared for every circumstance that could pop up.
Especially if you're by yourself. I'm like,
right. And people just don't. And so you are a dumbass. I mean, I feel terrible if something bad happened to them. I feel terrible if something bad did happen to them. I don't want to see that happen to anybody.
No, that's awful. Yeah.
But you're a dumbass. I'm gonna get Red Foreman on my shirt, dumbass.
Dumbass. My foot in your ass, dumbass.
Right. I'm gonna tell you about some first-hand accounts here. It's spooky. This one scares me. Like, this would scare the shit out of me, I'm telling you. So they hear, like, you have dead air radios.
Yeah.
So they'll have their dead air radios on, and they will hear voices on the dead, like, spooky shit on the dead air radios. Like,
right.
Like, disembodied almost,
Oh my gosh, I just got the chills.
Right. So have you ever seen a spirit box?
Yes, the SB.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that a dead air radio would probably work a lot like a spirit box.
Yeah, because the theory with the spirit box is the white noise somehow has that perfect pitch and tone that they can somehow communicate with the white noise. I don't know.
Right. So I'm assuming that the dead air radio.
It's very creepy.
I'm assuming they work like that, around that same principle.
Right.
So they'll hear these terrifying voices on the dead air radios. They'll see mysterious figures.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine walking through a forest and out of the corner of your eye you see somebody like walking with you and you're like, and there's nobody there? Like, I would.
Oh my gosh, chills again, because I'm like, that would freak me out. I would like run, and I'm not a runner, as you can tell. I do not run anywhere, but I would run.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
So,
I feel like I should have a chill counter for like every time I get the chills, I can just chills. It'll keep a tally in the corner of my chills.
Right. I know. So, okay. They have unexplained navigation mishaps. And, well, it's just expected. I mean, it's a triangle. We don't know what's going on there. I think a lot of paranormal things are drawn to places that have, like, where the Earth's navigational pull is off.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that paranormal, or maybe it's off because it is paranormal.
Oh, I never even considered that, because we hear a lot of like the magnet. I can't say the word. The magnetization of a certain place could be stronger or weaker, but I never considered that maybe it's because of something and not something is because of that. That's interesting.
Right. I mean, I think it could work either way.
Yeah,
which
totally.
We should get into that. Maybe we'll do an episode about something like that. We'll do some research on that, because
that'd be awesome.
A lot of places that have navigation issues are reported to be paranormal.
Yeah, totally.
So is it because of that, or is it because they have navigation issues because it is paranormal?
Yeah.
But they have mysterious plane crashes. They mysteriously just crash. It's a lot. That is a lot like the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
Some other triangles around the United States in state forests that I would like to explore.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll find the same things going on in those.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It would be awesome. So they have burial cairns. Is that how you say that? Cairns?
Oh yeah, the cairns.
Cairns, yeah, okay. Burial cairns. So they have people buried there. I don't know from where or when they were buried.
Oh, that's right. I wonder what they are.
I don't know. So, and my first-hand account that I actually read an entire story about this. So these group of friends go out and they camp in a clearing. It doesn't say exactly where they were at, but I'm wondering if it's one of these backwoods campsites off of the Long Head. our long trail. So they set up camp, they start their fire, night's here, and they hear a woman. They were hearing shrill shrieks, crying, laughing, like,
oh gosh,
like it just kind of when I was reading this, I was thinking of like an asylum.
Oh, interesting.
Like somebody that was like in the middle of a hysterical fit.
Oh,
You know what
right.
I mean?
Like their mood swings are like all, they don't even know if they're happy or they're sad or they're upset. Yeah.
Right. And so they would hear it on one side of the camp. And so they would go over there with the flashlights and look, and they wouldn't see anything. Well, while they're over there on the one side of the camp, they would hear it on the other side of the camp.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that.
So I'm thinking that they got the hell out of there.
I hope so.
Yeah, so, but I kind of rushed to this one because we have another story to tell you. But that's the end of the Bennington Triangle. I'm sure there's so much more things, that we could have gotten into. But because we have this other part of the story, I'm going to hand it over to Rebecca.
Yeah, so we had talked about this on the phone because I was freaking out. Okay, so we record this episode and it's so good. But from the very beginning, we had so many issues. Even right now, Tristan, I'll tell you that for some reason the audio and the video are not syncing together.
I noticed with yours as well, and I didn't want to say anything, so I'm like, I just want to get through this because
no, totally, right?
Out, man.
It's because we've done a few of these. If you go back and watch those, you'll see. And we did
Subscribe,
not.
like, and notify.
That's right. That we did not have these issues at all. Like we've had some quality issues with the video, but nothing like where just the audio and the video for some reason don't want to sync up with each other. So we record this video. We have it saved on our computer for editing and, of course, release. Andrew, who is the technical advisor of our show, well, a technical advisor, because I think that Dylan is a technical advisor also.
He's my tech on this end.
Yeah, he's going to go on our credits too. So Andrew accidentally erases the Bennington Triangle episode. And I don't know if he, because we try to erase the episodes once they're uploaded to YouTube for space, basically. So I don't know if he thought that it was the other episode that we had done, the Croak Patterson Mansion, which was the episode right before this one. So anyway, the video gets erased, and here's the weird part is at first I wasn't that concerned because in the back of my mind was thinking, oh, we'll just go in the recycle bin and we can retrieve it, because I'm not extremely computer literate, but I do know that if you put something in the recycling bin, you can go and retrieve it later, as long as you don't empty the recycling bin, or I think it might go on time. Like if you set it up, it will erase by itself automatically, like at a certain time. So then Andrew says to me, no, it went in the recycling bin, and then I erased everything in the recycling bin, and then I restarted the computer. So I was like, oh, okay. So then I get online, and I love doing all kinds of research, so I'm like typing away, and I find Andrew had tried it, data recovery, and I literally found like 5 free, because we're really poor, data recovery software that you can like download onto your computer, and it will recover data that has been deleted from your computer and your recycling bin. So we're running this software, and Tristan, it was named and everything. Okay, it was named Podcast 3. It is literally gone. Like,
okay, so I'm gonna pause you right there, because I'm gonna tell you that I spoke to my tech guy,
right,
and he told me that nothing is ever really gone from a computer.
Yes.
He said that when you empty your bin, it goes into like a storage cache
Right.
until it's written over.
Right.
And since this video was just filmed, you guys have not done enough on your computer to rewrite this video.
Yes, that's exactly what Andrew and I had talked about. That it's so weird. It would have, like, we're going through with this data software recovery, and we're finding videos. So this computer was a gift from a very good friend of ours named Jerry. And he sent to Andrew this computer because he knew that Andrew specifically didn't have his own computer. So when he sent it to us, it had been factory restored. So like you can go in and it erases everything that you've ever done on your computer. It's like you just took it out of the box from the store.
Right.
But we found a video that he had recorded on this computer before he gave it to us. Like, that's how in depth this data recovery was going. And it's like was from 5 years ago, Tristan. And I found like other videos that we had on the computer, like from when Callum finished treatment in 2017. We found a video from then, and I'm just like, how are we finding all these videos? And I literally cannot find the video at all.
That we just recorded less than a week ago.
It was like the next day. Like, it was like Monday. I was doing editing on the Croak Patterson video to post on Tuesday. And then I was going to jump right on Monday afternoon or Tuesday afternoon and edit the Bennington Triangle. And it's gone. It's in the netherworld, I think. I don't know what happened to it. Like,
the Bennington Triangle swallowed our video.
It swallowed the video.
Like, it is gone. It's so weird. See, out of all of this, like, this is now our second time running through the Bennington Triangle case. And this freaks me out almost more than the Bennington Triangle itself.
Well, I feel like with all the technical problems that we had, and then the video...
Still now technical problems, you know?
Yes, and then the video disappearing into the ether, like, what is going on? Like...
Right. It's. I would say that this is very, very weird.
Uh-huh.
It's almost like it doesn't want this video out there.
Well, it's going.
It is going.
Yeah.
This time it's going.
Yeah, so I was devastated when it was erased. And then we decided that, hey, this could be an actually really cool add-on to an already super spooky, like, I don't know.
Right, story, yeah.
It's so sad because it's so far away from us. How is it affecting us?
I'm telling you. Okay, so the paranormal world. I don't know, like, I know that you're very into paranormal, right?
Yes.
I don't know how in-depth you have studied on the paranormal.
Quite a bit.
Me too.
Maybe not as much as you. I don't know.
So, I mean, if it is, say it's I don't know about, they've never said this, I never read this anywhere, but say that the Bennington Triangle is a gateway to hell.
So I've heard of these gateways to hell before.
I also have too.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, so much weird stuff happens at this place. How, you know what I mean? Who's to say that it could not affect us?
I don't like that. Stay away.
Well, I honestly don't worry about it. I have Jesus on my side.
Me as well. I'm always like, hey now, Jesus, I don't like this. Take it away from me, please.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I do when I get scared.
Right. So that's the best thing to do.
I'm a big chicken. Yeah, I've replaced my mommy with Jesus, so that's what I do.
But I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, if things of the other world that are otherworldly, if they don't want things to happen, it will not happen. I really believe that 100%.
I also believe that, and I'm a little worried about this video.
Guard this video.
Yeah, it's going to be edited and put up this weekend, so.
Right. I know, and we're also filming on Sunday, so.
Yes, there's going to be two, I don't know if we're calling it a podcast. I have no idea. on YouTube, we're calling them episodes. I feel like we're going to try to put this in podcast format. But yes, next week there are going to be 2. And Tristan,
2 more shows.
Mine is so creepy. I'm just going to throw you a little bait and say that it's so creepy. And at first I wasn't even sure if I was going to do it because it's pretty famous, but it's not a place. It's not a person. It is a place, but it's not like a building. It's not like the Croak Patterson Mansion, which was my first one. So it's very creepy.
I have mine right here, and
Ooh, let's see it. What is it? Oh, you're already done with all your research?
I am. But I have to say this. That I was doing research the other night before I went to work.
Yeah.
And I scared the shit out of myself.
Yes.
With my research. I was terrified. I'm like, awesome. Oh shit, now I have to go get in the shower.
You're like, there is literally somebody in my bathroom. I know it.
Right.
I know. I'm going to close the door and they're going to pop up right there.
I literally scared the shit out of myself doing this research because this place is very creepy also.
That is so awesome.
I know. I was like, and I don't normally get freaked out, but like, I was so freaked out.
Listen,
to do research too, I actually watched a couple videos, and I think that's what really freaked me out.
Oh yeah.
And I was reading about it, and I was like,
gosh.
I'm like, do I really have to take a shower to go to work today?
No, I might not, or have the Sasquatch come in and guard you.
He was sleeping.
Oh no, that's
he
the worst.
He'd gone to bed. He'd gone to bed.
I always think I was thinking, like, if something happens and I get really scared and I scream, I'm like, is Andrew going to wake up and come and rescue me?
Right. So, yeah, he was asleep and I was finishing my actually, everybody in the house was asleep. It was like, I want to say Thursday night. Gotcha. No, that would have been yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was Wednesday night. My days are weird.
Yeah.
So, like, I woke up today and I'm already thinking it's Saturday because I work on Saturday. So it was Wednesday night and everybody was asleep because the boys had practice that day, and Jordan goes to bed at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and Dustin went and laid down, and everybody in the house is asleep, and I'm in here at 10 o'clock at night doing my research, like how you said, typing away.
Yeah.
And then I run into these videos, and I'm like, this shit is cool. And I'm like, afterwards, I'm like, why did I do that?
And I want to point out, Tristan, that it is very, very dark behind you right now. So if it's like in the date, yeah, exactly. It's like a black hole back there. Like,
that's actually where my front door is.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to point out that this is the first episode we've done at night. Like, usually we do them during the day. And so it gives it a little bit more like of a spook factor.
Little creep factor going on.
Yes, and which leads me into, I'm very excited about our Halloween special, which nobody knows about yet, but that's going to be at night, right? So
it is going to be at night, yes.
We're going to creep ourselves out for Halloween.
We most definitely are. That's the best time to be creeped out.
Oh my gosh, yes. I feel like if you're not scared on Halloween, you're not doing Halloween right, so...
That's right.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. And I'm one of those people, like, I start Halloween at the end of September.
Yes. Like, right, it should be like, right, because they already have Halloween stuff in the stores, but it should be like Christmas, whereas, like, as soon as Thanksgiving, like, comes, it's Christmas.
It's not even Thanksgiving, like, literally, they have Halloween stuff up till the 31st, and after the 31st, it's Christmas.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, you might find, like, a little section, like, this big of Thanksgiving stuff that has, like, you know, the paper turkeys and the napkins that say, like, gobble, gobble, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, like, and that's it. That's all that Thanksgiving is. Sorry, Thanksgiving. But...
Right. I'm one of those, like, kind of little self-absorbed people where I'm, like, I think because my birthday is in 3 weeks. So I'm like, my birthday begins the holiday season.
Interesting. No, that's also a good point. Because my birthday is in October, and I've always been like, yeah, I got an October birthday. Okay, there's...
I would love...
Something's touching me.
Stop it.
I'm assuming it was Andrew, but you don't know with this green background.
Stop it.
What the fuck?
Okay. Your son needs you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I got creeped out again, even though I've heard the Bennington Triangle, so
It's a good story. And you guys should definitely check it out. We're gonna put some pictures up of this.
Yeah, I was gonna add them in while we're doing it, but then I'm like, no, I'll just edit them into the video because it's fairly easy. So we'll do that.
Yeah. And since this was an unscheduled, almost spur of the moment, like video that we had to do so that we could get Bennington Triangle out there.
Yeah, I literally called you like on Tuesday, or when was it Tuesday? And I'm like, Tristan, the most awful thing has happened. I'm so dramatic, by the way. I'm like, are you, this is like literally what I said to you, right? I'm like, are you ready to be devastated?
I believe those are your exact words.
Yeah. So we kind of, we didn't know we were going to do this again. So.
I honestly thought somebody had died.
I kind of thought you would think that, but then I'm like, well, I don't remember exactly what I prefaced it with, but I assumed that you could tell in my voice that everybody's living still. So.
Well, see, when you said that I have, like, some devastating news, I at first thought that somebody had died,
Yeah.
and then you told me that our video got deleted, and I was almost just as sad.
Like, no!
I have to say.
No. Yeah, I was pretty sad. But
yes.
I got over it, and I think this is going to be a good one. So
I think it is, because the rest of our story adds, like, a big creep factor, because that almost creeps me out more than Bennington Triangle does.
yeah, I think it's definitely trying to. I don't know why they don't want us to talk about it. And when I say they, I don't know who I'm talking about, but they don't want
another world.
Yeah,
people.
exactly. They don't want us to talk about it, but we are talking about it. And
Yes,
I'm not scared. Kind of.
I'm not either. I'm almost not scared.
I'm this close to not being afraid. Bring it on. All right.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway, I think that is a good note to end this on.
For real. For real.
You guys stay creepy.
Yes, and make sure you subscribe, hit that notification, and give us a thumbs up, or if you really are mean, you could do this, but either way, let us know, and make sure you comment on this video or any other videos you want us to do in the future, because we are down for anything, really. Well, as long as we keep it clean. We are down for anything.
Yes, and please, you guys, let us know about your personal experiences.
Yeah, because
we
might mention
wanna know.
you. Yeah, we'll definitely mention if you like say, hey, this happened to me. I was naked in my bathroom, and we said we're keeping it clean. I was in my bathroom with a towel on, and somebody wrote in the mirror. I want to hear that. Honestly,
I definitely want to hear a story like that. Yes. I want to know about your guys' personal experiences. Hopefully, because we're gonna keep this going, and hopefully, maybe we can do episodes about listeners' letters or listeners' comments,
Yeah, definitely.
Episodes about our listeners' stories, that would be great.
Yes, and eventually, hopefully, we will be big enough that a shout out will mean something to you, and you'll want to leave a comment.
Right now it definitely doesn't, but
no, you'll be like, what?
Leave a comment anyway.
Yeah.
I don't need a shout out from you. I got more clout than you do.
Yeah, I have 30 followers, you dick. Thanks.
Right.
Gee. All right, man. I guess we're gonna end this, and I can't wait till we record on Sunday. And you guys look for those videos next week, and look for this video. I'm not sure when we're gonna do this. Maybe Saturday or Sunday. I might put this up on YouTube. So.
Okay.
Totally, yeah. Check it out.
Yes, and follow us on Instagram at Occultus Cerebus. Also on Twitter on the same name. And you can look us up on Facebook, and we're Rebecca Tristan on Facebook.
That's right.
Please look us up. Yes.
The ParaSisters.
The ParaSisters. Follow us.
That's right. And we'll catch you on the flip side.
Most definitely.